We're in an old cemetery near Cokesbury, South Carolina. This is the Gary family burial plot. There are two Confederate generals buried here, and I'll tell you a little bit of that story. The large gravestone on the left is Martin Witherspoon Gary. He's from the old Gary family from Cokesbury, which was a prominent family in this little Methodist settlement. And he went to war as a cavalry officer with Wade Hampton's Legion, and then as a separate commander of his own regiment. And finally, at the end of the war, he and his men were the guard to Jefferson Davis as he fled south from Richmond. And they came down through Greensboro, North Carolina, and through Charlotte, and down through South Carolina, and actually came here and spent the night in the Gary family home, the night of May 1st, 1865. The other general that's buried here is the largest monument on the far right of this picture. He is the brother-in-law of Martin Witherspoon Gary. He married Victoria Gary, the sister, and he was from Marion, South Carolina, in the lower part of the state. He was a West Point graduate in 1848 and went out west and fought Indians until the war started, Civil War started, and then resigned and joined the Confederacy and was a hero at the First Battle of Manassas, which was the first major battle of the war. And shortly thereafter was the hero leading the battle at Ball's Bluff in Virginia. And so by the end of 1861, he was really a highly thought of general. After the war, he came back here. He taught school here actually in the church, which is no longer here, the church that was associated with this cemetery. And then he moved to Alabama and taught school there, but he died 3 years after the war. And his wife, Victoria, whose grave is the small grave next to his, outlived him until the time of the First World War. She moved with the 4 small children to Edgefield and moved in with her brother Mart, the first general, and lived in a big old house which is now a museum called Oakley Park. It's near the town square in Edgefield. The son of General Evans, John Gary Evans, was governor of South Carolina in 1894, 1895. He was the first governor after Ben Tillman and was a Tillmanite. And he presided over the Constitutional Convention of 1895, which wrote the present Constitution for the state of South Carolina.